Hello, welcome to the Global Teach Connection update. I'm Dr. Joyce Pittman, Director and Principal Investigator. I'm here to talk to you about the postponement of the Global Teach Connect Summit that was scheduled for International Education Week. The summit title was Innovate, Integrate, Inspire, AI's Impact on Global Education and Sustainability. The GTC Summit was scheduled for November 18th. It is now being postponed until International Education Week during the year of 2026. The future of global international education in the age of growing artificial intelligence promises to be transformative, reshaping how learning and teaching is delivered, accessed, and personalized across borders. Although we are postponing the summit this year due to the U.S. Department of Education's funding delays, our work will continue. So in this session, I will review some of the highlights of what we've accomplished during the last 5 to 6 years of studying the integration of AI into global education and beyond. I thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you will join us next year as we bring you our summit again live. So with no further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to proceed. Feel free to leave your comments or to send me comments via email. Thank you so much again for being here today. I will now share my screen. Welcome to Innovate, Integrate, Inspire, AI's Impact on Global Education and Sustainability, the 7th Annual GTC Summit 7, scheduled for November 18th to 25, is now being postponed until 2026. But let's go going with a brief recap of past summits. Please enjoy this short video, then I will proceed with sharing with you some of what we've discovered in terms of the overview of what AI looks like in international education, global learning, and this will include key challenges, opportunities, and a few case studies that we have come across during our time of our study. We will also share with you some institutional policy guidelines, policy recommendations, as well as a checklist that can be used by institutions to further investigate or explore the integration of AI, not only into your global international education programs, but throughout your curriculum, no matter what it might be. And so, with that said, I'm going to now start the video so that you can see some of the highlights of our past summits, and most recently, the summit of 2025. I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane. So now let's move on. And once again, welcome. The future of global international education in the age of growing artificial intelligence again promises to be transformative, reshaping how learning is delivered, accessed, and personalized across borders. Although we are postponing the summit this year due to the U.S. Department of Education's funding delays, our work will continue. The GTC team and our network of participants remain committed to teaching, fundraising, and advancing research to increase awareness of educational, ethical, equity, and policy issues essential to ensuring high-quality global learning opportunities for all people. Here today, I will present some key directions for global education, teaching, learning, and leading that GTC has discovered and will continue to explore. 6 key directions that we believe will have an impact on the future of AI in global international education as well as leadership. Personalized AI-driven learning journeys. AI will enable truly individualized learning experiences. Students anywhere in the world will have access to adaptive platforms that adjust to their pace, interest, and learning style. This will help close gaps in access and achievement, especially for learners in underserved regions. 2, global classrooms without borders. Virtual exchanges, AI-powered translation, and real-time collaboration tools will make global classrooms commonplace. Students and teachers from both different countries will work together seamlessly, fostering cross-cultural understanding and global citizenship. 3, ethical and inclusive education systems. As AI becomes more central, global educators will need to emphasize digital ethics, equity, and inclusivity, ensuring that technology amplifies rather than replaces human connection. Questions of data privacy, cultural bias, and access to AI tools will shape international education policy. And 4, teacher roles reimagined. AI won't replace teachers. However, it will redefine their roles. Educators will become learning designers, mentors, and ethical guides, partners with students, helping students interpret information critically and apply it meaningfully. Teacher training programs worldwide will increasingly include AI literacy and global digital pedagogy. 5, global competence and lifelong learning. As AI accelerates change in the workplace, international education will focus more on global competencies, which in the GTC program, we've invested countless hours exploring and developing curriculum in this area. If you would like to have a link to those modules, you can simply go to our website or contact us. These competencies include creativity, empathy, problem solving, and adaptability. Lifelong learning networks supported by AI analytics will help individuals continually reskill and remain globally competitive. 6, cross-border collaboration in research and policy, which we've heavily engaged in with our partners from many different countries, including the United Arab Emirates, China, the Philippines, African countries, Asian countries, and so many others. AI will drive new partnerships between universities, governments, and tech industries to address shared global challenges such as climate change, migration, and sustainable development through data-driven and interdisciplinary approaches. How exciting. So in summary, the future of global education in the age of AI will be more connected, personalized, and equity-focused, but also more ethically complex. The challenge for educators and leaders will be to ensure that AI policies and practices serve humanity's highest educational purposes, empowering all learners to contribute to a just, sustainable, and globally conscious world. So we invite you to further study the GTC policy statement in the following brief that I will share with you in terms of giving an overview of that policy content, which is being published in major journals and other outlets. So first, the future of global international education, age of artificial intelligence. This is a new brief that's come out of our research as of November 2025, prepared by myself, Dr. Joyce Pittman, along with input from so many others, including the GTC team. Artificial intelligence is transforming the landscape of global and international education, offering unprecedented opportunities for personalized learning, equitable access, and global collaboration. Yet these advancements also bring complex challenges, ethical, cultural, and structural, that demand thoughtful policy responses. This brief highlights emerging challenges, opportunities, global case studies, and actionable recommendations for educators, institutions, and policymakers to ensure AI advances human-centered, globally inclusive education. I cannot emphasize that enough. There's so much going on now as we become more and more interconnected until we need to now start to focus on what are those policies and guidelines. Number one, we start with equity and access. We know that there are gaps, persistent gaps in technology infrastructure, and this is very prevalent. And I'm just going to move this around a little bit to get myself out of the way here. Persistent disparities in technology infrastructure and connectivity risk widening educational inequalities between nations and within marginalized communities. To read more, you can follow this link to UNESCO 2024 report. Ethical bias in cultural representation. Most AI systems are developed in English and Western contexts, often reinforcing linguistic and cultural bias. 3, teacher capacity and digital literacy. Many educators lack AI literacy, limiting integration and critical engagement with AI tools. Data privacy and policy gaps. Nations differ widely in education data governance, leaving student data vulnerable to misuse or worse, exploitation. 5, pedagogical over-reliance on technology. Without clear frameworks, AI use risks prioritizing efficiency and assessment metrics over holistic human development. So what are the opportunities? There are many opportunities. These are only a few. Adaptive and personalized learning. AI creates customized pathways, empowering students to learn at their own pace and style. Global learning networks, real-time translation, and AI collaboration tools to dissolve borders, promoting cultural exchange and to override language barriers. Teacher empowerment, automation of administrative tasks, frees teachers to mentor, create, and inspire. Continuous and lifelong learning. AI-driven analytics enable skills forecasting, reskilling, and micro-credentialing. Worldwide policy innovation. Global data analytics, enhanced decision-making, and transparency in education reform. So for all of the disadvantages, we also have many opportunities. But these opportunities, as well as challenges, are going to require we come together and look at the policies governing these advancements. So what are some of the recommendations? Recommendations are widespread. However, these are 5 that we believe are important. 1, establish global AI literacy frameworks. Embed AI and data ethics in all levels of education, teacher training, curricular, and lifelong learning programs. Ensure equitable infrastructure investment. Expand digital and AI access to under-resourced schools through public-private partnerships and global funding initiatives. 3, develop ethical and cultural guidelines. Adopt international standards for algorithm transparency, bias mitigation, and culturally relevant content. 4, empower teachers as facilitators. Redefine teacher roles as mentors and learning designers supported, not replaced by AI. This will require additional training, education, and perhaps even new certificate and degree programs. And of course, research to determine how these new programs should indeed be developed. 5, strengthen global research and governance partnerships. Encourage UNESCO, OECD, and the World Bank collaboration to harmonize policies and share best practices across borders with all sectors, business, government, industry, education, and not to forget our families. So where does that take us? Here we have a checklist for AI integration, for ethical integration, not just integration, but ethical integration. So we take a look at the categories first. We have basically here 6 categories that are critical to creating instructional policy to guide ethical AI integration. First, we begin with governance, data privacy, curriculum, equity, pedagogy, and evaluation. Looking back at governance, this includes having an institutional AI strategy. Key actions would include developing mission-aligned AI, use policy approved by leadership and the ethics boards. Data privacy, data protection and ownership, ensure student data security, consent, and transparent data use agreements. Curriculum, AI literacy and digital ethics, integrate AI education into teacher prep, general education, and professional development. Equity, inclusive access and representation. Allocate resources to reduce digital divides and include diverse cultural perspectives in AI content. And then we have pedagogy, human AI collaboration. So important. Perhaps this should be closer to the top, but you can rank order these in any order that you want based upon your goals and the strategy that your organization or family decide to use. But the important thing here is that you want to promote creative, critical, and ethical use of AI to avoid full automation or assessment or teaching. You want to have that human involved because, as we mentioned earlier, AI is not here to replace teachers or to replace leaders, but to be a collaborative partner. And then last but not least is evaluation. Continuous monitoring these areas, creating feedback loops to assess AI effectiveness, ethics, and inclusivity. So then you can prioritize these areas and decide where you need to focus your efforts more in terms of research and resources with regards to developing policies and practices to ethically assist with the integration of AI into instructional policy, as well as into the foundation of our educational systems. So in conclusion, AI is redefining what it means to teach and learn in a global society. If guided by ethical, inclusive, and human-centered principles, AI can bridge gaps, amplify equity, and deepen understanding across cultures. However, without careful policy alignment, it risks widening divides and eroding human connection. And so that's why we need more and more education programs, and we cannot hear this enough. The future of global education depends on our collective capacity to ensure that AI serves humanity's highest educational purposes, which include truth, justice, and shared global progress. I want you to just reflect on this for just a moment and ask yourself the question, if AI is redefining what it means to teach and learn in a global society, what does that mean for me? What does that look like in my classroom? What does that look like in my home? What does that look like in my personal and professional practice? Where are those gaps? What does equity look like? What does equity mean to me? And understanding across cultures, how comfortable am I with understanding across cultures? And what collective capacity do I have that I can access, that I can use in order to ensure that all of our policies and practices serve humanity's highest educational purpose? These are some case studies where you might find interesting to follow these links and search out these projects. For each one of them, I've identified the impact as well as the source where to find additional information. And the first case study is in Kenya, and so is the second one. We have university collaborations, we have primary school students, environments, and then we have two other regions that we looked at, and that those regions include Brazil as well as Asia. Brazil's AI-powered literacy project, promoted by the World Bank in their EdTech report of 2024, doing remarkable things to strengthen literacy and data-informed teaching practices. And then we have South Korea, National AI Education Strategy, A14U programs. South Korea has implemented a nationwide strategy for integrating education at all levels, K through 12 to universities. And it's demonstrated to OECD a comprehensive and scalable model for national AI literacy. So I think these are all very good examples of where to begin, and you can certainly seek out more and then be ready to share those at our next summit. Who knows, your organization, your school, your research might be one of those case studies. So keep us in mind as you explore the integration of ethical AI into instruction as well as in education. These are my references, and you can follow up on these references to find additional information. And you know what happens when you look up one reference, it always leads you to another one. So don't stop exploring. Let's keep it going. And again, we thank you so much for your support. And I hope that you enjoyed your International Education Week, that you were able to reach out beyond borders to connect with colleagues. And we look forward to seeing you in 2026. I am Dr. Joyce Pittman, GTC Director, Principal Investigator. These are my email addresses. Thank you for your support. And we also have on this page this presentation that you can download. And we also have a policy brief document that you can access as well, that you may share with others. So again, thank you very much.